Sorry, y'all, I didn't do this before I came on camera. But hold on, I gotta put my crown on too, cause I'm speaking the truth. Hello, and thank you for stopping by Chelle's Closet. While you're here, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. And you see that little red button right down there, go ahead and hit that. Subscribe to the channel while you're here. And to the right of that is a little bell. You definitely want to hit that little bell so you know anytime that I am going live. Anytime, I just post anything up on this channel. I'm a little congested today, but hey, I'm still gonna do what I need to do, cause I told you I was gonna be here, and I'm a woman of my word. So, what? Why? Oh man, I'm I'm so grateful for those of you who came over yesterday. Who came over yesterday for Saturday Night Vibes. That song "Trippin'" is actually I'm realizing more and more as I listen to the words or understand the words of the song that I am the words have a different meaning for me. Um, I'm super excited. Looking forward to March. This is like less than 24 hours. I'm super excited about March. I still have to get y'all the end of the month wrap up. I'm not sure why my video for today hasn't uploaded yet. I'm still figuring all this out. What I think I'm gonna have to do is do a hard reset on my phone. It's been tripping, so excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna do a hard reset on my phone, and hopefully they go. I just uploaded the updated the YouTube app, so I don't know. I'm gonna figure it all out. But thank you for joining me. Tonight's topic is abuse. Understanding what it is, understanding the effects of it, understanding just how to deal, how to move through it. I'm not gonna say get over it. I'm not gonna say, move past it. I'm gonna say go through it. I feel like once you go through something, you destroy it, and you take what you can, you learn, take the things that you learned, and you use that to move forward. Um, Sorry, that was just a little hard to breathe. Yeah, so today's topic is abuse. Um, this topic is, I'm not going to say a touchy one for me. It's definitely something that I have come to the understanding that needs to be addressed, um, especially in order for you to move forward, to progress past that stage of your life. It's important for you to accept and acknowledge and understand why things happen. Sometimes in life, things happen to us, and instead of dealing with it at that moment where it happens, we tend to toss it to the back of our head and we say, you know what, I'll deal with it when I got time. And then, the way the world moves, the way life goes, next thing you know, it's like years and months, days and weeks, and it's like, well, it's too late for me to deal with it now, and then you don't realize the effects of that situation that happened over here and how it affects you like now today. I'll give a little personal story about me. I am I was gonna say a victim, but I was molested when I was younger. I was molested when I grew up. Like, my family is, um, we pretty close knit. We talk. I know I said before, like, my mom, um, there was a disconnect between me and my mom. But I grew up like in my grandmother's home, so like I was pretty much raised with my aunties and uncles. That is crazy now that I think about it. But so I grew up with my grandmother. I'm the oldest and the only girl, so I grew up around my mother, my grandmother, and my aunties and uncles. So I was kind of like fortunate to be surrounded by love and positivity and encouragement and people, that just really cared for me and really looked out for me. And so it wasn't until I got older and I went to church and my sexual abuse as a child happened to me at church. It wasn't like in my family. It wasn't a close relative or friend or anything like that. It happened at the church. So for me, if you're putting one and two together, that's kind of how or why, that's a small portion of why I feel the way I do about religion. But just understanding that abuse and how it caused me to be silent. Like, like something happened to you and you tell somebody and the reaction or the repercussions of you telling, instead of it going the other way where someone does something to assist you or get you out of that situation. And nothing like that happened for me. So I just was silent. Like, okay, if I'm telling you and you're not doing anything, there's no need for me to talk about it. I just go internalize everything. And so that was when I was younger. But a couple of weeks ago, I'm not even a couple of weeks ago, it's like a week ago, I was meditating. And during meditation, I began to cry. I'm not even going to say cry, I'm going to say I began to wail. And like, wailing is like, the cry where it's just like so deep where you just have no other choice but to just cry. And I'm crying and I'm listening to the music, and then it's just like I'm just sitting here and I just felt like, hey, or I heard like, you're doing yourself a great disservice. And then it was like I connected with the innermost part of me, and it was like, you can't remain silent. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Why do I have to be the person to speak? Like, why does it have to be me? There's so many other people in this world that experience abuse or trauma or just anything. So why does it have to be me? So I wrestled with myself for a minute because I was like, I don't want to be the voice. I don't want that to be me. And so long story short, by the end of meditation, it was like, I am the voice. I have to be the voice. And then I start to think like every situation that I went through in my life, and every situation, literally every situation, I said, I wish somebody would have said, or I wish I had somebody to tell me. And so I began to think, and I was just like, you know what? At this point, I don't want anyone else. I don't want you, and I don't want anyone else to feel like I wish somebody would have said to me. So if I can say anything that can help someone, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my voice. Earlier this week, I spoke my truth on my Facebook. I'm going to drop the link in here in a minute, but I spoke my truth on my Facebook. And while I was only speaking the truth to address the situation, it freed me from it freed me from something that was holding me, weighing me down for quite some time. It freed me. And I was just speaking my truth just to say, you know what, there's so many people around this situation. And I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, you knew, but you just didn't say nothing or didn't do anything. So to like get all that out the way, I just said, hey, this is what happened. This is where I'm at right now. And I had no idea the level in which it will get. Like when I say it will get, like, the number of texts and calls and DMs and just people reaching out to me, like people I never would have even thought will reach out to me, just reached out to me and told me how inspiring it was, or how they knew, like, knowing me, like I would never just intentionally say or do anything. I didn't say or do anything like mean or anything. I just spoke my truth. Like, I'm no longer going to be silenced. I've said this to y'all multiple times. I'm no longer going to be silent about things that happen to me. When people do fucked up shit to you, you should not be silent about that, because your silence makes you complacent with what that person did to you. And now I'm not complacent with anything that is happening right now. Anything that has happened, I'm not there anymore in my life. I'm not going to sing like a mockingbird. However, I am going to tell you my experience. I'm going to drop it in the chat here in just a minute. I got to figure out how to, I'm going to drop it in there. But I wanted to come and talk today because I understand that sometimes people don't want to address, like some people won't address what happened to them. They will never address. They will just continue on through life knowing this situation happened, whether it's molestation, whether it's rape, whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. We would just walk through life with that on us, right? And because we feel like we're no longer in that situation, we got over that situation, we don't have to talk about it. There's no reason for me to talk about it because I'm over it, or I moved past it, when in reality it is that thing that is causing us to have multiple sex partners. It's causing us to drink a lot or smoke a lot or pop pills or whatever you doing, and you like, why do I do this? Or sometimes you probably don't even think of why you do it. You just do it unconsciously. Or you ever had a moment where you was like, you know what? I just need a break. I just need a break. I don't want to do anything harmful to myself, but I just need a break. So you'll go away for a little while. You know, I was one of them. Hi, Natasha. Thank you for joining. I did that because this is one of the things that I wanted to address in with abuse. Like, I'm 40 years old. It wasn't when I was meditating and it said you are doing yourself a great disservice by being silenced. Silence had become my coping mechanism because I told someone what happened to me and nobody did anything. Like, nobody did anything. And so for me, it was like, what's the point of talking if nobody's going to listen? And then I just was silent. So stuff just happened and I was silent. Well, not anymore. I'm choosing to talk about everything that happened to me. Not just to be like, oh, I'm doing this to be spiteful. I'm doing this because for every person who have ever said, I wish somebody would have told me, or I wish somebody would have showed me, I'm taking this on. This is my thing for 2021 and beyond, mainly because I understand the effects of the trauma. Most people don't acknowledge the trauma that they feel or they experience in their life. Like, even in our households, I'm sure you probably heard the what happens here stays here. Hi, Miss Dream. Thanks for joining. I'm sure everybody has heard the what's happened here stays here. When in reality, that's the biggest thing that continues on generational curses. I spoke last week about generational curses. If people don't talk about the things that happen in the house, if it's just like, okay, this happened. Like, let me give you an example, right? If you have a family member that has been known to touch other family members, but no one talks about the fact that your family member touches other family members, and it's like, oh, well, we had a talk with this person and then they not gonna do it again. And then someone else says, hey, Uncle Pete touched me. I don't know if you got an Uncle Pete. I'm not talking about your Uncle Pete because I don't know. I just pulled that name out of the air. But Uncle Pete touched me. So then if Uncle Pete touched you, like say Uncle Pete touched me. This is a hypothetical. Uncle Pete touched me, and I tell somebody, hey, Uncle Pete touched me. And you like, hey, oh, we talked to Uncle Pete. He said he's not going to touch me. He's not going to do anything like that. we are now continuing on generational curses. Like Uncle Pete is now has a pass to touch the next person. So me as a person, if I'm like, okay, Uncle Pete touched me, and you said you talked to him, but then I find out later that one of the younger cousins, a younger cousin from me, has been touched by Uncle Pete, I am going to be highly, highly, highly. See, this is where I this is where I come from when it comes to anything like that. As a person who has experienced child molestation or child abuse, child rape, whatever you want to call it, as someone who has experienced that, I will be damned if I allow anyone around me or anybody that I know to continue, because I know what it did to me. I'm not saying it's going to do the same thing to you. I'm not saying you're going to have the same experiences as me. I know that I am at a place where I can acknowledge that I internalize a lot of things. I did that. I internalized it. A lot of the sickness that I had, a lot of the situations in my life, because of me internalizing and not talking about it and not sharing it. But when I sat down and I had to talk with my brothers, and just sharing with them where I was, and how come they saw me but didn't see me. I was actually just like, I'm living my life, but the entire time I'm living my life, but the entire time I was really dying on the inside. Because this thing, hey Crystal Davis, you said it right. I came to realize that whatever you do not acknowledge will become a plague, and this thing plagued me. When I say plagued me, I cannot in good conscience know that someone is doing anything to harm someone else and not say anything. I can't. That's just me. I can't. I've come to understand that a lot of people have experienced traumas. Some people, like, my trauma didn't happen in my home. My trauma didn't happen in my home, in my family's home. It didn't happen in the home. My trauma happened at church. I understand that a lot of people's trauma does come from their home. If it's not like sexual abuse from like family members, it's mental abuse. If it's not mental abuse, it's emotional abuse. And some people actually got abused, like abused. Like one time I got a whooping. I'm gonna tell y'all the story. One time out of my 40 years of living, one time I got a whooping with a extension cord. And my whole understanding was like, I'm not a bad kid. I don't do anything that's bad. I never did anything extra that was bad. So when I got a whooping with a extension cord, I thought my life was ending. I thought I was going to check out of here. But when after it happened and I talked to my grandmother about it, my mother whipped me with a extension cord. And I talked to my grandmother about it, and I understood like the process on why people feel like they have to beat somebody, or they have to like the whole process behind it, and why it's like belts and stitching cords and switches and all of those things. Like I understood where that came from. And then it was like, but nobody talks. That we don't talk. We don't talk. We just assume that you know. We just demand that you know, but we don't talk. That's the thing. We don't say, hey, I am like, if you're a parent, right? When you get ready to whip your child, do you say, here's why I'm whipping you? Or you just go in swinging a belt or whatever you using, and then while they're crying, they're just like, well, I don't even know. I mean, I can think about something that I did, but I don't really know. I was the type of person, like, I said to my grandmother, I was like, you know what? If I would have just got talked to about what happened, I probably would have never got a whooping. If you would have talked to me and asked me what happened. But what I come to understand now in 40, is maybe it's just because I'm 40. I didn't understand from 20 all the way up until 40. But sometimes people don't want to acknowledge that shit happens, right? I feel like in most families, like I was never told, like my family never told me to be silent. My family never told me not to talk about it. My family never told me we don't want to hear about it. I actually felt, this is how I felt, right? Knowing that knowing who my uncles are or were at that time, I knew I didn't want to get them in trouble. I didn't want to say anything to them because, again, I'm the oldest and I'm the only girl. So they were like protective over me in a way where it was just like I was loved. I am loved. So when situations started to happen, and I would think like, okay, they know, so let me just try to play it calm. Like it's in my head. Like I'm young. I am a child. There's no way as a child I should have been thinking, covering, doing all of the things that I was doing, but nobody talked to me about it. Nobody talked to me about molestation. Nobody talked about this is what happens when somebody take advantage of you. Nobody talked to me about that. Nobody. Nobody said this is what you do when somebody touch you. And I don't think they did it intentionally. I think they just didn't think that somebody would touch me. That's just what I'm going to say, because they never had a talks like, hey, this is what happened, because we was in a space, people didn't do that in the space that I was in. Again, it wasn't until I went to church and it was just like, holy yes, that word. But I just feel like those experiences in my life kept me from a lot of things. Like I would see, so I grew up in the church, whatever, and I was like, while I didn't come out to be a sexually promiscuous person, I did drink, I did those things, but I was like, oh, it really didn't affect me. It didn't affect me. I'm gonna get there, Crystal. I'm gonna get there because that's part I got a list right here. I'm gonna get there. I said it didn't affect me because I wasn't out here being promiscuous, and I wasn't. I didn't take what happened to me and start doing it to other kids. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna protect everybody around me. Whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna protect them. That was never my job. That was never my job. I was in what they call survival mode. Like I'm like, okay, I don't want anybody else ever to ever feel like this. Ever. Ever I don't want anybody. When I be hearing stories of people like how, like what, oh God, it bothers the hell out of me. Like it bothers me. I was talking to someone, or actually I was talking to my brother earlier, and I was saying to him, I was like, you know what? We don't even take the time to acknowledge the abuse that happened to us when we were younger. Crystal, when you said you didn't beat your child, I remember growing up, people was like, oh, I'm not going to beat my child. I'm not going to yell at my child. I'm not going to do all the things that your parents did to you, right? Um, I understand why people say that. I was one of the people like, like my brothers look up to me. Like they're like, hey, I'm not their mother, but I protected them like they were my children. Like this is not going to fucking happen to you. I'm sorry, I should have gave my disclaimer. There's going to be some cuss words in here because this gets me a little. I can't. No, I can't. I will not tolerate it at all. I don't care. And if you are here at Chelle's Closet, this is a safe space. If you want to talk. You don't got to use real names. You can use real names. You can speak your truth in this room. Say this is where I'm at. The environment I grew up in, it was healthy. It was healthy. Like they encouraged us to talk. They encouraged us to speak our mind. They encouraged us to share whatever we thought, right? So my grandmother knew, and I'm gonna tell y'all how my grandmother, she didn't know, but she knew. Cause y'all see me, I like to talk. I was a talker back then. I'm a talker now. But what happened was I stopped talking. I literally stopped talking for 2 years. Hey, cool nerd. For 2 years, I've stopped talking. My grandmother knew. But nobody else is just like, oh, what's wrong? I literally stopped talking. Like, you would have thought that I really lost my voice. Nope, I just wasn't talking. I didn't see the point in talking. If I'm telling you this is happening to me, you're not doing anything. In my mind at this time, I'm like, oh, I gotta figure this out. No one's gonna help me. I gotta figure this out. How I'm gonna get out? How do you get out of a situation that you didn't even? I was 8. How did I? How did I get there? How did I get there? We're talking about abuse tonight, cool nerd. We're talking about physical, mental, emotional, child abuse. We're talking about molestation. We're talking about rape. We're talking about beatings. If you experienced beatings as a child, if your mama or daddy yelled at you all the time, or whatever kind of abuse, if you were in a domestic violence situation, we're talking about all these things and how those things affect our everyday livelihood. Right? Imagine being beat as a child and then you grow older and then now you have anger, pent up anger because your parents didn't tell you why they was beating you. They just beating you. How many parents tell their kids why they getting a whooping or why you're chastising them or punishing them or however you say that? Like, how many parents actually say, hey, this is why I have to whoop you? Or you just automatically assume they know why did you whooping them, so you just whoop them. Like, the environment in which I grew up in it was very, very like, okay, we could talk about it. And the person that was doing things to me was making threats. And I'm not going to say I didn't believe them. I just didn't want it to be true. So if you are a parent or you someone and you don't know, this is why I say, this is why I say it's important for you to tell your child that they are handsome. It is important for you to tell your child that she is beautiful and reward them for doing the things that they do, because somebody out there will take advantage of your child. If y'all haven't paid attention, human trafficking is at an all-time high, and especially when it comes to black and brown kids. If you don't do it at home, this is something I want to talk about because a lot of people that I know in their very house experience abuse. And it's the whole, what happens here stays here. We gonna talk about it. We gonna keep it in our family. Then it's affecting generations. That shit should never happen. Then no one talks about what happened. Once you get molested or once you get abused or once something happened to you, nobody talks about it. You're just supposed to be silent and shut up and go over there or get over it, or that happened to me too, so look at me, I'm okay. And it's all of those things for me. Well, here I am today, like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. It's 2021. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to talk about it. I said when I first was like, when I got an adult, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If somebody asks me, I'm going to tell them what happened. And then, soon as I said that, somebody asked me what happened, and I told them what happened, and they was like, wow, I would have never thought that. I would have never thought that. And you know, when I talked to my grandmother as to why they even thought to use switches and belts and extension cords or remotes or house shoes, like, what is that? They don't think about it. They don't think about it, and it's something that was from slavery, and it just kept going. Nobody kept going. That's why to this day I have a nephew he's turning 19. So my 19, 13, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. I messed the last ones up. They my nieces and nephews. But none of them can tell you that I whooped them. I don't whoop them. I sit down and I talk to them and I say, listen, I'm not going to whoop you. My niece Kira, y'all saw her in the video, she would tell you I don't whoop kids at all. I would talk to them. And this is something I come to learn from my Uncle James. He would talk to me. Like, I would be like, oh, God, this man talking again. But when talking was his form of punishment. I'm going to say it was his form of punishment. It wasn't a punishment. He was just sharing with me the knowledge and the wisdoms. And I was looking at it as punishment. Like, man, I got to sit here and listen to this man talk. But that's what I'm trying to get at. Cool nerd. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. my father beat me, so I'm gonna beat you. And then it's like the I gotta make you a man, so I'm gonna beat you. If we be totally honest, right? If you look at the relationship between the mother and a daughter and the father and a son, or or just look at those relationships, especially if you grow up in households where, like, I grew up in a single parent household. I spent more time with my grandmother. I was fortunate. I was spend more time with my grandmother. My mother was always either working or at church. She loves the Lord to this day. She still loves the Lord. Um, so for me, having to understand, okay, this happened to me in this building. In this building, this happened to me. I don't want anybody else to experience this. But when I turned, that's why church for me is like a cult. I told you I'm being totally transparent. I'm gonna be here. I'm here. Church for me is like a cult because I went there and people knew what was happening, but nobody said or did anything. And it was like, you gotta be lying, because why would this person choose you? Then that's when it becomes what they call it. I was about to say victim blaming, victim shaming, blaming, whatever it is, right? Then that's when it happens, because now it's like, why would they pick you out of all the people in a place? Why would they choose you? When in reality, it's like they shouldn't be choosing anybody. People shouldn't be touching anybody at all. Why? Get some help. If you know in your family, I'm gonna go back to Uncle Pete. If you know that Uncle Pete is touching people, y'all better go call 911 or y'all better get some help. I'm telling you, if anybody around me, listen, that's what I don't play with that, because I know how it affected me. But it's tons of you probably watching right now, and you know a Uncle Pete in your family, or you know somebody whose family got an Uncle Pete. Sorry if your name is Pete. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying it was a hypothetical thing. I no. But when people start coming out, like, y'all remember, like the Catholic Church. If you are a Catholic, I'm not. This is just a conversation. When the Catholic Church started coming out, all those people started coming out and saying that the priest was molesting them at the church, and all of those things was happening, right? People was like, why did you wait till you got 30, or why did you wait till you got 40? Unless you are somebody who have experienced abuse, whether it's, I'm going to go domestic, emotional, mental, child, rape, whatever. Unless you are somebody who have actually experienced that, you know the psychological shit that you have to go through to, like, oh, sorry. I'm sorry, cool nerd. You know the psychological shit that you have to go through. You go through, did I say or do something that caused this person to do it to me? Why does nobody help me? I don't want to be here anymore. You go through all of these different stages until you like, I went to therapy. I was in church, but it was therapy that helped me understand that there is no problem with me. There's no problem with me. It wasn't me. It was that person who decided to make a fucked up decision, and then because no one said, "Hey, you are making fucked up decisions. You need to stop these fucked up decisions." They just kept on going. Like, there was no repercussions for what they was doing. And then me as a young person and growing into an adult, I was just like, I'm gonna protect myself. I'm not gonna let nobody get close. I'm not gonna be caught slipping. I'm not gonna be caught, like, when I tell y'all, I hate the smell of Aspen cologne, and I hate the smell of Nautica cologne. I hate the smell of them. Like, all of these things, like, you start to understand what triggers is. Like, I would never, like, I would go around this person, not now, but before I started, the journey to discovery. I would go around this person and my fingers would, like, literally shake. Like, my body would have an actual response. And so I started paying attention to that. When I started paying attention to that, I started watching other people. So when I started watching other people, I was just like, oh my God, that's a real thing. Like that's a real thing. Like if you've been abused, or you got an eye and you pay attention, you can see who's abusing people. You can see who's abused. You can see an abuser. You know those things. Like you pay attention. Like if you see somebody that's constantly like they call it grooming now. But if you see somebody that's constantly like going out of their way to talk to somebody, or going out of their way to do stuff, like that's why I be paying attention to like older, like a lot of people just be thinking that it's guys that's doing it, it's females doing it too. It's females out here doing the same thing that guys do, but they don't get looked at as doing that. Me, I'm one of them type of people. I don't care if you are old, young, male, female. I don't tolerate that. Not at all. Not at all. You definitely want to stay far away from me. That shit is not cool. That shit's not gonna fly with me. It's just not gonna fly. I'm not here for it. I just because I personally know how I struggle. I struggle. I want to say I my struggle is nothing compared to some of the people that I know struggle. Like nothing. Nothing. And that's not to make my situation any less. But imagine growing up in a family and there's an Uncle Pete, and nobody for generations, nobody has. Uncle Pete never got in trouble for what he did. Now Uncle Pete's kids are doing the same thing to. Can you imagine that? Don't imagine it, but can you imagine it? Can you imagine growing up in a household and now you and your brothers and your siblings are talking about, hey, well, I got touched by Uncle Pete too. And then now your parents is like, well, if you would have said, or you would have did, or like, I don't understand that part for me. Like if a child or somebody came to me and was like, hey, this person is doing this to me, I'm gonna go immediately. I'm gonna get all the facts, the details, everything you said is going on, and I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna be that one person. I said at the beginning of all this, I said, I wish somebody would have said, hey, approach me and that person at the same time. I've always been like this all my life. Approach me and that person at the same time and say, listen, I know what you're doing, and if you think you ever in your mind think that you're gonna do this again, I already called the police. We filed a police report. I'm doing all of that. That's what I'm on. All. I'm gonna be on that for the rest of my life, because no child. Think about how hard kids have it right now. They survived a global pandemic. They going to virtual school. Kids in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana is like going without stuff. Oh, I definitely I put that through there because I watched that channel. If you never watched Soft White Underbelly, I be watching that and I be feeling so bad. Like those people's stories is just like if they just had somebody to stand up for them. So I said to myself, I said, you know what? If I ever hear anything like that, I'm going to be that person. I don't care if that other person don't like me, don't ever speak to me ever and again. That child will know that if nobody else ever come to my defense, this person will. That was all I felt like I needed at that one time. Just one person that'll be like, you know what? If you ever touch them, you look like you want to touch them, you breathe their way, the police have been called and there will be a report. That's all I'm saying. That's why just one person. We are just one person. And I want to address this too, right? For those family members, right? So I'm 40 years old and I'm starting to talk. Like, hold on, let me see if I can put it up in here. I had spoke my truth. Hold on, I'm gonna sign in. I'm still talking to you. But I spoke my truth about the situation that I'm going through right now. And with that, I know as an adult, you say some shit people ain't gonna like. It's gonna rub people the wrong way. Okay, I get it. I'm an adult. I'm ready to have a conversation about whatever I say. I'm willing to talk to you about it. But I had to speak my truth because I couldn't just let the narrative that was being created, I couldn't let that, whoa. Oh, that was it. I couldn't let that just be out there. I couldn't. I could have, but I couldn't because I can't. I won't. I will never let somebody create a narrative, especially when I know the truth. I'm not going to do that. That's why, for me, I had to keep saying, like, you know, I don't know if I want to do it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But the reality of it is I had to. I had to. It had to be said. Um, I'm trying to see how I could share it. Oh, you know what? This is what I'll do. I'm gonna drop it right here in the chat, right here, so you guys can check it out. I didn't say what I said to be malicious. I said what I said to say, listen, you cannot keep doing fucked up shit to people and think people not gonna say something to you. You cannot. At this juncture, if you or somebody you know have experienced domestic violence, rape, molestation, anything like that, you are entitled to talk about what the fuck happened to you. Regardless of what people say, or you gonna stir up trouble in the family, or you gonna do, this is my thing with that, right? For as long as you dealt with, you struggled, you went through all kinds of, I'ma kill myself, I'ma drink myself away, I need to get a break, or whatever you struggle with in your mind, for as long as you struggle with that, your family knew that you were struggling with that. Your family chose to cover the family's name, to protect the family's name, than to assist you in what you was going through. For me, I can't vibe with that. I can't vibe with that at all. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, that happened 10 years ago. 5, 4, 3, 30, 60. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people like, tell me what happened. If y'all think about it, right? Anytime one of these major celebrities or anybody like got taken down, or even church priests, even if you think about it, anytime something got taken down, all it took was one person to stand up and say, this happened to me, and stand on it. Look at the young dude, what the heck is his name? From the singing group. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. The one dude from the singing group is saying the same thing, like, something happened to him. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened to him, but something definitely happened to him because he's been saying the same thing for years. Years he's been saying the same thing. And for me, something happened to him. Whether people want to admit it or not, they don't want to look at it bad. They don't want to look like, oh, like I heard this said a time before. The person don't do that no more. The person don't do that no more. They gave their life to God, or they stopped doing that a long time ago. That doesn't negate the fact that you still did it. You still did it. I'm still dealing with the repercussions of what happened. Nobody walked me through, okay, this is what happened after you get sexually abused. Nobody said that. It was just like, yeah, we know that happened. That's sad. But Jesus is going to, I'm only doing this because of Jesus is going to heal you, and time heals all wounds, and all of these things that we throw at people just to have them, like try to make ourselves feel better. I don't care. I'm talking to y'all about abuse. I'm sharing with y'all my story, not so I can be like, ooh, look at me, but to let you know you have to find the courage within yourself. To find the courage within yourself to say, you know what? At this day and age, the age that I am, I need to talk about this. I need to address this. If you got an Uncle Pete and you know that Uncle Pete done touch your little sister, your little cousin, you need to address it. If you don't feel like it was addressed in the manner it should be addressed. We talked about it. We had a family meeting and we decided this is what we're going to do. That's not good enough, because how many family meetings have you had and look, Uncle Pete's still touching kids? If you knew in the first batch of kids who are now 40 that Uncle Pete was touching kids and the kids is now 20 is getting touched, y'all do the math, that's 20 years Uncle Pete been touching people. When do we say something? When do we say something to Uncle Pete? When do we stop covering for our families and just acknowledge the hurt that the people are experiencing? When do we do that? I was talking to my friend, And my friend was like, what my family members. I don't really have friends because that's a whole other subject. I was talking to a family member. They're close to me. We grew up, so that I call them like my family members. So I was talking and I was like, what's even more messed up is that people don't know, like, if your parents were abused, it triggers something in them. Like 9 times, I don't want to say 9 times, that's a high number, but the reality of that is like it's actually real. Like we all know someone who have been molested or sexually abused. Like even though we don't want to, we all know someone who has. Maybe it's you that has been molested or sexually abused. But we all know someone and we all know the struggle. You know how you struggle to cope with it. You watched people around you. Like I know people who committed suicide. I know people who like just pop pills every day to not even be here. Like I know it's just sad. It's sad. And then I say to people like, if you grow up in a family and shit is happening and nobody actually talks about it, it's like, okay, we had a family meeting, everybody talk about it, but nobody is addressed. Like the authorities, someone said, why would you have them call the authorities? Because they need to know what the fuck is going on. Uncle Pete is he done touching my daughter. My daughter who's 40, he done touched my son who's 20, and y'all better get Uncle Pete. Y'all better get Uncle Pete some help. Get Uncle Pete some help if y'all want to make sure. If you ever watch like SVU, I watch SVU a lot. I love SVU because they be on some. As Olivia, she be getting it together. I watch SVU. The most recent SVU, the man was he was a rapist and he was trying to get out of jail. And so he had been writing letters. He was writing letters to his victims and everything. And the preacher believed him, y'all. The preacher believed him. He was like, he was at church. He's at church every time we have service and he's helping people so he's like, oh, he's changed. He's reformed. That's what he said. He's reformed. So the one lady who was abused by him, she went and was actually talked to him. She was like, okay, she read his letters. He was like asking for forgiveness or whatever. She went and talked to this man and she told him how she felt. She told him everything that people of abuse, everything you want to say and you have the opportunity to say. She said everything she wanted to say. His parole hearing came up. I'm telling y'all the whole thing, but you're gonna see what I'm saying. His parole hearing came up. At his parole hearing, everything that lady told him how he made her feel, he used her exact words. He made it seem like he said it like, oh, I know that I, made them feel like he just trying to get out. That lady sitting there, she felt so small. She already felt small because she was trying to, he did this to her. She felt small because she said, it's got to be something I could do because now he's using my words. He's taking the words. He hurt me once. Now he's hurting me again. And so they let her go back in and she was like, you know what? This man destroyed my life. He destroyed it. If you think about your brother, sister, auntie, uncle, cousin, anybody that you know is struggling, anybody you know that has been touched, anybody you know that has experienced some form of abuse, you know it. You can see it. You can see someone that's being abused. Now I'm going to talk to the people that has been abused. I want to encourage you to talk about your situation. I'm not saying go to Facebook. I'm not saying go to YouTube. If you feel Facebook and YouTube is where you need to go, you go right ahead and do that. What I am saying is you need to talk about anything that you do not talk about, anything that you do not acknowledge becomes a plague. It will plague your life. It will be a reoccurring series in your life. I find myself talking about things that I didn't even, that whole being silent thing, I didn't even pay attention to it until I sat back and thought. And I was like, you know what? I watched my mother be silent in situations where it was just like, oh, fuck no, I would say something. And then I turned around, I was just silent. And I thought I've been silent the entire time. And me being silent, not saying anything, and shit just keep going. Shit just keep going. I can't with the shit just keep going. Somebody has to say something. Somebody has to do something. Somebody, if you are in a family where you know there's an Uncle Pete, and I know the family is probably like, no, we don't talk about Uncle Pete. We don't talk about that. We know that happened, but we don't talk about it. Somebody in that family needs to stand up. Somebody in that family needs to be like, you know what? This person needs help. I'm not telling you to call the police. I'm not telling you to do anything. But I'm telling you to trust your instincts. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to trust your gut. I'm going to tell you to, it does. It does, Trish. Hey, Trish. It does. And I'm going to tell you as a 40, when I told y'all the story in the story time and I said I lost my ability to walk and talk. But what I didn't tell y'all was I was being molested. Church was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I was being molested multiple times in a week. I was. Multiple times. And I just kept throwing it in the back of my head. Now, again, what happened to me probably doesn't happen to you. Maybe you was shouting from the mountaintops and things were different from you. But for me, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna throw it in the back of my head. Everybody know what's going on. Somebody gonna say something. I was going out of listen, y'all. It was so much stuff where I'm like, how is this possible? How am I able to travel out of town with this person and nobody says anything? So at that point, it was just like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Ain't nobody just gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna stop talking about it. I don't know. I went inside my head. I learned to detach. There's detachment. There's feeling of worthlessness. There's insecurities. When I tell y'all, the person who molested me, they made sure, like, no, anybody that wanted to date me, anybody that thought I was cute, they made sure that they said and did everything possible to keep people away from me. When I think back, I was talking to I was real cool with this one guy, and I always wondered, like, one minute we was like we was cool, like we was hanging out, we would make music, we would do all kinds of stuff, and then one day he just stopped coming by. And I just called, like, I just happened to call him, and then he wouldn't answer the call. So you bump into people in the store. It's like, what's up? I'm one of them people. If I see you out and walk, you ain't talk to me, I'm gonna walk up to you. Hey, what's up? What's going on? And this person ran. He gave me he told me everything this person said about me. I was livid. I was so livid. Like, listen, I've been silent. I don't say nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. I'm just over here just trying to maintain this be. Why do you have to go and create a narrative? It's when people create narratives when it's just like, if you know Uncle Pete be touching kids, tell somebody. You inviting family members over, you know they got little kids, tell people. Send Uncle Pete, hey Mo, how you doing? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little congested. If you know somebody in your family got a problem touching people, you make sure you tell everybody. I would say tell everybody. Post a note on your door. Uncle Pete has a problem touching people. I don't think you should come in here. Don't cover it up. It's 2021. There should be no covering of anything. I'm good. I'm just in here talking about abuse. Let me share it again. I'm gonna share it again if y'all didn't see. If y'all didn't catch it before. I'm talking about your truth. Sharing your truths. I shared my truths this week. I didn't, go into the fullness of it. Yeah, I was a little emotional. I was emotional in the beginning part of this week. I was emotional. But then I had to remember who I am. I had to remember. And I overcame a lot. When I tell y'all, that could have destroyed me, but I was determined. I'm a determined individual. When I tell y'all right now, I'm so close to reaching my goals. Oh, thank you. I just posted it in here, so anybody that didn't see it, you can go ahead and check it out. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I wasn't trying to do anything. It's just I'm the type of person where if you decide you want to leave me, just leave. Talk to me first, and then just leave. Don't ghost me and create a narrative and then expect me to be okay with the narrative that you created when you know I know the truth and you know the truth. But to make yourself and the people around you look good, don't do that to me. I'm telling you, I told y'all earlier, I don't rock with that. I don't rock with that. I want to say because I'm 40, but in reality, I don't rock with that. You ain't gonna see me hanging around with people that's known pedophile. If I know you a pedophile, if somebody tell me you a pedophile, I ain't got shit to say to you. You don't. I don't even want you in my same space because I might get triggered. I don't even know. I can't. I don't want to be around Uncle Pete. I'm not. I'm never going to Uncle Pete's house. I'm never going. Auntie, oh, we having a birthday. I'm not going. Uncle Pete could say right up over there. I'm gonna tell all my cousins. Let me find out Uncle Pete is touching people. I'm telling everybody. Uncle Pete touching people. Well, Uncle Pete, he used to do that, but you know, in his old age, I ain't gonna say Uncle Pete won't stop touching people. But I'm gonna say this: Uncle Pete was touching people. He was touching people. I started to think about, households, right? When I was growing up, my mama worked all the time. My mama is a really hard worker. She works all the time. Between work and Jesus, those are her two things. Jesus and work. So as I was growing up, I would watch, like, you know what? I'm a hard worker too. Like, you say I'm never gonna be like my mama. I'm never gonna do it. And I started thinking, like, dang, you know what? I'm pretty much like my mother. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. If you take the time to get to know me, you will know me. You will know. I don't be on no stuff like that. If I say I love you, so my video, I don't know if it's up there or not. But my video I did today, it was about I used a Beyonce quote where she talked about forgiveness. Like, I feel like love is a choice, right? This is what I'm gonna say, just in case you didn't see my video from earlier. But I feel like love is a choice, right? And I made the choice to love the person that I am in love with. That was my choice. I'm not obligated to love her. I don't have to love her. I chose to love her. I'm choosing to love her. Y'all probably like, oh, she did. But right now, I'm still in the point of love. However, when people think about love, they don't think choice. They think feeling. They think like, oh, I've been with you for so long, so I think choice. I think if I love you, I'm making the choice to be patient with you. I'm choosing to be patient with you. I'm choosing to work through whatever. It's a choice for me. But the moment I decide I do no longer want to, hey, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. If you go watch the video, you understand what I'm saying. I don't bother nobody. I sit over here chilling, making videos for y'all. I'm gonna just tell y'all, right? I am at 450 videos. If y'all think about it, last November, I think it was November. I think it was November, October, one of those months. I was like, I want to be at 300 videos. I'm at 450 videos, y'all. I've been putting in the work for this channel. I've been doing Saturday night vibes and dinners and convos. I've been putting in the work for this channel, y'all. So when anyone decides that they want to tell me to take this channel down because whatever reason, but don't have a reason why they want me to take the channel down, and they got their own channel, I don't even understand it. I can't do that. I promised y'all that I was going to be here, and I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. That's something you can count on. If you don't believe me, ask Mo. She in here. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. I believe in commitment, and I believe in whatever I say I'm going to do. That's why I'm saying, if y'all want to come over here, that's why it's Shelle's Closet. This is a safe space. We could talk about everything. Y'all see I done talked about generational curses, abuse, trauma, standards. It's all kinds of stuff. And I'm not even, you see, I'm choosing positivity over pettiness. Like I'm not there. I just want everybody to win. We all can win. We all can get money. We all can get money. We all can be happy. We all can do that. You ain't gonna find somebody like me, because everybody outside of me, if I tell y'all the number of people that have reached out to me, this is what makes me understand the power in my voice. Like, I knew the power in my voice, but this helped me understand more, right? I had more people telling me how I had a lot, like all of my family and friends was inboxing me. Like, I've never, my mother, let me tell you, I'm about to tell y'all this part. My mother watched the video. She watched my video, she watched my wife's video, she watched all the videos. And she said, I am impressed by you. I am impressed by the way you stood up for yourself. Now, my mother, it's a bunch of other people who I never would have thought would have said anything to me. They watch me. I know they watch me, but they messaged me and told me how proud they was and how I encouraged them and how they wish they could say some stuff about their situations, and how they knew how strong that, how hard it was and how strong I had to be in order to do that. But for me, it was just like, I love, if y'all don't know, I'm married. I'm currently in whatever, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what to call it anymore, but I'm in this. And for me, it's abuse. It's abuse that's like, it's what it is when things happen in people's households and people don't address stuff, and then there's control and there's a manipulation and there's guilt, and all of those things are things that comes with abuse. If you've ever been abused, or you know somebody been abused, you know how guilt, manipulation, and control are like head of those things. Me, anytime I see somebody trying to guilt, like somebody be like, "Oh, could you take me somewhere?" Well, you remember, I don't do that guilt. I don't do it. I will quickly say, I don't do guilt. You talk to the wrong person. I don't do guilt. I don't do manipulation. I don't do forcing people to do anything that they don't want to do. If I ask you to do something and you say no, that's it. I'm not going, come on. No, no. I understand what no means. I understand what no means. I understand I don't want to. I understand all those things, because I've said them for so many times, and nobody paid attention to me. I don't rock like that. I'm cut from a whole different cloth. I know that I'm cut from a whole different cloth. Most people was like, somebody even called me and was like, you are a good one, because I would have said all kinds of things. I would have used so many cuss words. I did drop the F-bomb a lot, but that's what my mom said. She was like, I had to get past the F-bomb. But it's time for you to speak your truth, right? You survived a whole global fucking pandemic. If you live in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, you survived a pandemic and a winter storm. If those ain't signs that you should be living your best life right now, I don't know what to tell you. I'm living my best life. When I tell y'all, I cry, I was so emotional all week. I was emotional. I got up this morning. I don't even know what happened. I got up this morning. Actually, it was yesterday morning. I got up yesterday morning and I just felt free. I feel so free. I'm getting emotional right now, but I feel so free. It's freeing when you let go. When you talk about your truth, you live your truth and talk your truth. I'm the type of person, like, if you don't want to work with me because I'm gay, that's fine. That's fine. But how many gay people do you work with on a daily basis? That's something I be wanting to ask people. Do you know how many gay people you work with on a daily basis? Or that don't matter because you don't know they gay. But when you know somebody gay, that's another thing. Like, we grow up in households where homosexuality resides in our households, but because we go to church, or whoever we are, we can't be ourselves. If you grew up in a church, you wouldn't even think about being gay. It's people that grew up in church that suppresses their feelings for the same sex because they feel, or they were taught their entire life that is wrong. Do you see how wrong that is? I'm not talking about them wanting to be gay is wrong. I'm talking about how wrong it is for somebody to preach against something and then cause a person to feel like it's people that won't come out of the closet, won't never. It's some people that will never have the opportunity to come out of the closet. It's some people that won't ever address or accept the fact that they're homosexual, but they will still hide and do homosexual things because of their fear of how they would be looked at. It's people who have experienced sexual abuse that try to sleep with many women or many men just so that people won't say that they're gay. There's a fear of like being gay when in actuality you were touched and no one addressed the fact that you were touched. You didn't even address the fact that you was touched. So now you have to deal with this. I gotta I'm gonna smash as many chicks as I can because I'm battling these feelings. And it's not battling feelings of being gay, it's you trying to figure out who you are. I remember growing up, we had health class, and health class taught us about Billy, and Billy sleep with Sarah, and Sarah sleeps with Billy, and Billy slept with Tiffany and Melissa, and then it shows you how many people you have intertwined with by just sleeping with one person. I remember those things. Like I remember. Listen, y'all. I done seen some stuff. I lived in the hood, and I done seen some stuff. If somebody heard somebody was touching little kids, people would listen. I ain't no snitch. I can't believe I just said that, but I done seen some people get hurt. You know how you hear about people, pedophiles, to go to prison and the things that happen to them. That's what I'm saying, Mo. Soul ties. People don't believe in that stuff, but that be real, right? Because if you think about it, right, if somebody truly loves you, they will be willing to do whatever it takes to be with you. If they truly love you. If they truly love you, they will do whatever it takes. They will forsake mama, daddy, sister, brother, the whole entire fucking world. That's where I'm at when it comes to my wife. I'm willing to do whatever. What should I say? Was willing? I'm willing to do whatever. I was right. It was me and her against the world. But with that situation, hey, I'm not there right now. I'm not. If somebody loves you, they're willing to go through anything with you. When I say I love a person, I'm willing to do whatever for that person. Me and Mo just really like got connected, like real connected, and I'm willing to do whatever for Mo. And I'm sure Mo, I didn't have to say that out loud for you to feel like that. But that's just me and the energy that I give. But if somebody come to me and be like, "Oh, I love you," and then and you trying to make it work and it's not working, and you still trying to make it work and it's not working, something at one point you should say it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. People keeping stuff. You gotta pull the rug back. You gotta pull the rug back. You gotta talk about it. If anybody tell you don't talk about it, listen. I know when I said my truth. Y'all can go click on the Facebook thing up there. I know when I said my truth. I knew. I'm ready to accept the consequences of whatever come after that. I knew that. I had to say that though. I had to let that be known because I'm not there no more. Anybody knows me know how much I love. Like not even, oh no, I love. But what I don't love is the abuse and the manipulation and all of that stuff. I don't love that. If you grow up in a family, right, and there's an Uncle Pete in your family, somebody has to stand up. Somebody has to go against the family clan. Somebody has to go against the family. I'm willing to ride. Listen, y'all, I'm willing to ride. The people that I love, I ride with them. I don't ride with them when they, you doing wrong. I ain't gonna ride with you. But if I believe in what you believe in and what you fighting for, I'm gonna ride with you. I will stand against the entire world to stand next to you and be like, I'm riding with you. That's the kind of person I am. If I love you, that's what I'm gonna do. I just had a conversation with my brother in the car. He was like, no, I know. And I was like, I get what you're saying. But because of me and I understand the dynamics. When you understand, as a person that's been abused, I understand how people that been abused think. I'm not saying like I'm all knowing abused people thoughts. I don't know that, but I know when you are abused and someone takes advantage of you, I know that you get into this cycle of, if I don't do it, if I don't follow along with what they say, I made it in my mind a long time ago when that situation happened to me. Oh, I call myself trying to protect myself, but the reality of it is you can't protect yourself from anything. You can take the proper measures to ensure, but you really can't protect yourself from anything. You really can't. You could just ensure that you know, like I wouldn't put myself in situations at all. When I go out, I don't be drinking. You know why I don't drink? Because I don't, half of the people out here, I'm gonna sip my tea on this one. Half of the people out here don't be about that life. If you think about it, right? Think about this, right? So many people be about sex. It's about sex and it's about validation. Sex and validation. And a lot of times, if I told my niece's mother, I said, you know what? If people looked at their home environments, like if adults just look back to how they grew up in their home environments, um, they will understand that a lot of the things that they believe came from their home environment. A lot of things, like when people be like, "Oh, you nagging," or just any simple thing, like their unhappiness, like dysfunction. Like, you ever been with somebody, you ever dated somebody where if things was so if there was no drama, it was like weird for them. Like they just have to create drama. They have to argue all the time. Is Listen, families be real dysfunctional, super dysfunctional, and sometimes families just know that they dysfunctional and know that people be doing people wrong. If you watching this, you know somebody that's doing somebody wrong, and it's on you to say something. You ever had a moment where it's like, I wish somebody would say something? That's how I felt in that situation. I was like, I wish all the people I know, I wish somebody would say something. All the people that's, ooh, you cute, y'all doing all this, I wish somebody would say something. I'm watching y'all. People that's grown up around us, that's been around us for the last 6 years, I'm watching them say nothing but agreeing and kikiing and hoo-hooing and partying and kicking it. I can't get down with none of that. I can't get down with none of that. And because I can't get down with none of that, I started to say, you know what, let me heal myself. When I thought about rejection, right? The first experience I ever had in my life with rejection was from my parents. You probably like, no, I don't do that to my kids. I'm gonna tell you this, right? I was born, my mother and father had been together. They had me, they separated. Crazy enough, they came back together and had my little brother. And it was just, I was just there. They liked each other, they loved each other or whatever, but I just was a product of, we didn't try to have kids. We was just trying to be cool, or hang out, or whatever, one night stands or whatever so I felt that rejection. I felt that. And then when the person was molesting me, I felt even more rejection, because now I'm like, hey, this happened. Look at me. This happened to me. Help me. Somebody help me. And nobody did nothing. So now I'm internalized rejection. I'm internalizing insecurities, because I'm like, I know people heard me. I know you look at me in my face and you like, shh. People was literally like, shh. So am I not supposed to? Now it's like, am I not supposed to say something? Do I say something? What am I supposed to do? So then I go silent, and then I'm growing up, and I'm like, I just wasn't going to be in no relationship. I wasn't. I wasn't going to be in a relationship. I couldn't. People I got close to, I didn't get too close, because I didn't want them to know that, the person that molested me is well known. I didn't want people to know. I didn't want it to. But then at one point, I just said, "Fuck it, I don't care. I'm dealing with this every day. It's plagued me. I can't deal with plagues anymore. I'm letting everything go. This chapter 41 for me. I'll be 41 June 26th. I gotta let it go. I couldn't I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I just gotta let it go. I'm letting everything go. I'm letting everything go. I'm growing. I'm loving. I'm choosing who I love. I'm making that choice. I'm not loving you because you can buy me some shoes, or you can take me to a fancy restaurant, or even you can cook for me at your house. I'm loving you because I can make that decision. If you're a parent and you're encouraging your kids to hug adults or kiss adults or just go sit on people, like when I was growing up, we didn't sit in people's laps. That was foreign to us. Like, you don't go sit on a grown person's lap. I seen some kids sitting on, and I just looked, and I actually asked the question. You know how you be sitting there and you think you saying something in your mind, and you actually said out loud, and then I looked, people looked at me, and I looked like, oh, I said that out loud. But no, that's the truth. Like, nobody has a problem with this baby sitting on Uncle Pete's lap. I got a problem with it. I'm gonna always have a problem with it. I'm gonna be an advocate. I'm gonna be an advocate for people speaking their truth. I'm gonna be an advocate for people living their truth. I'm gonna be an advocate for people who just, I can't jail with people that's doing wrong. I'm not gonna kick it with you, and I know you're doing wrong. I definitely don't rock with pedophiles. I definitely don't rock with people who take advantage. Exactly, Trish. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, not nowadays. They sit in the lap, they bounce them around, they do all that. I'm not with none of that. I'm not with none of that. I definitely want to come and talk tonight about abuse, because how many times you heard somebody talk about abuse? People ain't talking about abuse. People not talking about generational curses. We'll talk about it in the context of church and say, oh, generational curses. But the reality of it is, if people actually talk, if grandma or your mama, your daddy, or whoever it is actually talked and say, hey, I know your brother touched you inappropriately. We sent your brother off here to get help instead of sending people off to different places to... They're not getting help. We're not getting these people no help. We just sending them to another location. Like, think about the Catholic Church, right? They find out a priest was touching somebody, that would send them to another church. Now he done touched this whole church, and he done touched that whole church. We got to start doing something, speaking up about what's going on. If you think about it, right? If you grew up in a household where you got beat, something in you was like, I'm not going to... Crystal said it early, right? She said, I don't beat my kids. I don't beat my kids. I'm never gonna beat anybody. I'm gonna make sure that they understand, like, hey, this is why I never tell a child they can't... Listen, I never tell a child that they can't come over my house. I feel like when I talk to my nieces and nephews, I have real life conversations with them. Mainly because I don't know. My brother told me today, my brother, he's my third brother. Is he my third brother? He's my second oldest brother. None of them is older than me, but they all think they are. And he has a son, and he was like, I don't trust my son going to too many people's houses. And I was like, I totally get that. As a parent, if you just dropping your kids off at people's house, I'm going to tell you, you definitely need to check that out. You need to check out where you taking your kids. You need to know who going to be over there. If Uncle Pete going to come over. If your cousin that you know is touching people going to come over. If you don't even know. Like, sometimes people just be doing some really weird things. And nobody ever addresses the fact that people do really weird things. But I'm here to talk about it. Chelle's Closet, we gonna talk about everything. I hope I said something tonight that triggers something in your head. When I said that we're gonna talk about healing, the only way that you can get... I never say, hey Renee, I never say get over. I never say move past. I'm the type of person that say move through. I'm going through it. If you ever think, like, when asteroids are coming down, they don't shoot a laser around it. They don't shoot a laser over it. They shoot a laser through it, and it destroys that laser. I'm one of those people that goes through things. Like, When I accepted the fact, okay, yes, I was molested. Yes, my abuser was around every day. How am I going to deal with this? I stopped saying this person's name. I stopped saying this person's name for years. I just called him this person. I'm not saying their name right now just because of, anyways. But I wouldn't say their names for years. And then one day, I'm going to tell you how crazy it is, right? I found forgiveness. I was in therapy. I found forgiveness. I accepted. I processed all of that. And I went to my abuser and I said, you know what? I said, I forgive you for the things that you did to me. And not for them. I didn't forgive them for them. I forgave them for me. So I can let it go. Like, I cannot I free myself of that. I said, I forgive you for all of the things that you did to me. I forgave you. I forgive you for the narrative you created. There was a narrative. I just noticed a pattern. There was a narrative that was created, and I remained silent when that person made that narrative. I remained silent. This person called around to different places and was saying that she's going to say this, she's going to do this. I didn't do any of that. I'm over here silent. See, that's what I'm saying. I can no longer be silent. I'm over here being silent. So I go to them, hey, I forgive you for what you did to me. I forgive you for calling around the city, telling people, and you know what happened to me. I forgive you. Do you know what this individual did? This individual starts crying. Come on now, I know what your tears are about. I don't do that anymore. That was so wrong of me. I was like, okay. But then I said, have you accepted the fact that you did this to me? Like, you not, oh, because I'm standing in front of you right now. The person immediately stopped crying. Oh, you're not gonna tell anybody, are you? I'm a fucking adult. What you mean I'm not gonna tell anybody? I'm telling everybody that will listen. You know why? Because at this point in time, you playing in my fucking face. You just did all that crying, and then you stop crying to say, are you going to tell anybody? When I tell y'all, I almost said, fuck my forgiveness. Fuck the whole little thing I came here to do. But it was a release from me. I let it go. I say the person's name. I'm not saying it on here just because you're not getting no shine. Y'all notice I didn't say I just say my wife. I'm not doing. You not up over here. You're not. It's positivity and love. This is where this entire channel is going. Positivity and love. I don't have hatred from no one. I'm 41 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 this year. I survived a global fucking pandemic. I ain't got no time to be petty. I'm just loving. I'm speaking my truth. I'm sharing my truth. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm not rocking with people I can't rock. I said this on my video. If y'all didn't see it, I'll put it in here again. Hold on. I said this on my video. I said, I'm the type of person, if you cheating on somebody, I can't hang out with you. Because now I'm going to feel some kind of way about you. I'm hanging out with you when you cheating on your girlfriend. I'm be thinking like, damn, I wonder. Now this is just me in my mind. I'm be like, nah, I can't. And then, you become guilty by association because you was there and you didn't say nothing. No, you're not going to put that on me. I'm going to say something every time. I said I wasn't a snitch at first, but I am a snitch. I be telling everything. You know why? Because somebody needs to talk about it. I'm not going to go hang out with you and I know you got a whole wife, a whole girlfriend, a whole baby mama that you live with. People be doing some downright dirty stuff. But you know what? It's trauma. It's abuse. It's control. It's all these things that haven't been addressed in the entire situation. Y'all know family members that be like, oh, we got to keep it. What happens here stays here. We had a family meeting about it. And the person said they'll never do it again. And whatever. Parents, let me talk to you. Sometimes sometimes, in some cases, the parents even be the one that's doing the abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, and it's cause even do y'all should watch Soft White Underbelly if y'all have never checked it out. I know I'm promoting another person's YouTube channel, but that channel be having me crying. I literally be in tears. Like with some of those prostitutes or the people that be on drugs, even some of the pimps and the gangsters that be on there, I'd be like, man, they had a. I thought my life was hard. My life is your life is tremendously hard. And then the thing that I like that the guy does, I don't know his name, but the thing that I like that he does is he does follow up with them. And some of them be in better places and some of them be looking worse. That's why I'm watching, like, I'm crying because that could have been me. You know? Like, if I didn't have a foundation, a family that was like, no, we don't tolerate none of this bullshit. We don't. If I didn't have that and I didn't have people around me that was like, you are better than the situation. This is so if you are somebody watching and you have experienced abuse, I want to tell you this. Speak your truth. Live your truth and talk about your situation. Don't let anybody make you feel like you gotta be silent. Oh, don't bring that up because that's gonna rehash old feelings or that's gonna cause a light to be shined. Talk about your situation. At the end of the day, you deserve healing. You are the only person that's in charge of your healing. You don't do it for the person. What do you look like covering up the person who molested you? How would you feel if the person who molested you turned around and molest your younger sister or brother or cousin or somebody? That's something that I was like, I would be dead. Can you imagine if Uncle Pete touched you and then Uncle Pete turned around and touched your younger sibling? That's too much for me. I could not. I would not. I just can't. I can't. That's too much for me. That's too much. Anybody that have experienced any kind of abuse, you have my heart and prayers, because it's not easy. Everybody around you will tell you to get over it or move on. I moved. This is the first thing people say. I moved on. I got touched when I was younger than nothing, and look at me. I'm fine. They struggling. They struggling with insecurities. They struggling with different men. You want to know something? I'm gonna tell you this, right? I'm 40 years old, and I have never seen my mother bring any guy around. My mother has other kids. My mother has other kids, but I've never seen. I've never seen. Thank you, cool nerd, for going to check out my video. I've never seen my mother bring men in and out of our house. I've never seen that. I saw my mother go to work. I saw my mother go to church. She took care of us. She made sure we have. That's all I saw in my household. So when I'm telling y'all where I grew up in, I was safe. I was okay until I got molested at church. Then the dynamics of everything changed. Safe, dynamic change. When I tell you people, I feel like there is you go to church and there's give it to Jesus and there's pray about it. There's he's going to heal you. I'm 40 years old. I started going to church at 8. I'm 40 years old. You do the math. Like, is there a time limit? Is there is there a time frame? Did I miss a time frame? Did a statute of limitations run out? Like, I don't know. So I'm not one of those people that tell you times heal all wounds. I'm one of those people that tell you need to talk about it. You ain't got to talk about it to me. You ain't got to talk about it to YouTube. If you need to go talk about it to your younger siblings, if you have younger siblings, that's what I'm saying. People need to talk. Conversations. I'm talking about these topics because I want people to come here and talk about them. You probably can't talk about this stuff nowhere else in your life, but you can come here and we can talk about it. If you have a family, and say you have a family of 5, right? And there's a mother and father, and there's a family of 5. Your oldest child get molested by Uncle Pete. This child molested by Uncle Pete. This child molested by Uncle Pete. And you say something, let's say you say something on this child, right? Uncle Pete say, "Oh no, I'm never gonna do that again." And then this child gets molested, but this child never say nothing. These three child got molested, and the first one said something. Everybody was just like, "Nah, Uncle Pete would never do nothing like that." The second one, it was just like, "Nah," but the third one is like, "Okay, Uncle Pete, nah, Uncle Pete might have a problem." This child don't say nothing, and then the last one come and get molested. Now people will be like, "Oh well, he didn't touch this child." That child just never said nothing, and they don't act out. These people act out. They partying, smoking, drinking, turning up, and doing all this one. This one just doing everything. They trying to find themselves over here, and this one just living a happy-go-lucky. It appears to you that this one is living a happy-go-lucky life, when in actuality, this one is really tormented. Because you see where this at? These are three over here that already knew what was going on with Uncle Pete. Nobody did nothing. Here's the younger one that Uncle Pete done touch. Nobody still says something. So if they didn't believe these people, who am I? This is a silent person. Uncle Pete done got all 5 of your kids. And now, as a parent, you are left with a decision. Do I say fuck Uncle Pete and come over here and be a parent to my kids and work with them through the abuse that they've been through? Or do I say, you know what, we gonna cover Uncle Pete because our family has a status, or we know people know us in the community, and we don't want to be looked at like this. But I'm going to say it again. Every family, molestation has touched every family in some way, shape, form, and fashion. If it's not you, it's your cousin, it's your little brother, it's your auntie, uncle, it's somebody. Somebody. I'm telling you, I wasn't molested by anybody in my family, but when I went to church, I was, listen. We've all have been touched. We all have experienced some form of trauma. Let me tell you, if you grew up in the hood, you experienced trauma. What do you mean you experience trauma? If you experience police going up and down the block, if you experience people in the corner getting shot, if you experience fights, that's not normal. That isn't normal. That's not normal. If you seen crackheads on the corner, that's not normal. We need to normalize talking about shit. We need to normalize addressing shit and getting people some help. Well, Uncle Pete, he went to the war. Uncle Pete grew up in... Listen, if you know that someone isn't right, get some help. I'm going to talk to you people that go to church, right? There's nothing wrong with you going to Jesus, going to church, giving it to Jesus, and going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with that. At any time in your life, you should definitely... If you don't even go to therapy for the abuse or the trauma that you experienced in your life, go for COVID. Go for COVID. And I guarantee you, while you're there in COVID, like I'm going to tell y'all, I wouldn't go to therapy. I didn't go to therapy before because I grew up in church, and they was like, oh no, they're going to put something in your mind. They're going to cause the devil to... It was all this kind of stuff. The same person was like, but we ain't going to even go there. But so I didn't go to therapy. And then when I got older, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I can't deal anymore. I can't carry this around anymore. I went to therapy, and I'm sitting there. I'm kind of, like, no, I can't. All right, let me feel you out. Let me see how this gonna go. I sat on that couch, and that lady said, go into a place. She's like, where is the place that's comfortable for you? And I said, the booth at the studio. So it's like the closet. Chelle's closet. She was like, go in there. So I went in there. She's like, is the door closed? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm chilling. She asked me a question. She's like, what do you feel? I said, safe. She said, why do you feel safe? All she did was ask me questions about why do you feel safe? Like, check this out, right? If you have a child, when I was growing up, they would be like, you smelling yourself. If you got a child, you smelling yourself. So I would always wonder, like, what do they mean I'm smelling myself? And it has to do, like, oh, you had sex. So, like, you feel like you're an adult now. So if you have a child and you go to say you're smelling yourself, before you say that, you should go and have a conversation with your child, because I'm not gonna say your child out here just doing whatever, but I'm gonna say in the day and time in which we live, people ain't right. It's a lot of ain't right people out here. So your child probably thinking that somebody really loved them and really got their back, when in actuality all that person just wanted was, the V car. How many times I'm gonna get this person V car, V car, V car. Listen, it's real out here. Despite of all the global stuff, despite of all the winter storms, everything, it's real out here. I'm gonna say it again. Human trafficking is at a all-time high, especially when it comes to black and brown people. I'm 40 years old. I don't even be going places by myself. I be watching around so much. Listen, when I tell y'all, I be paying attention. I be paying attention, because at this day and age, people don't care. Y'all remember people wouldn't touch kids and old women? I remember that. I remember kids and old women was off limits. Kids, women, and especially the elderly was off limits. Now people don't care who they abuse an adult. Imagine putting your grandma in a nursing home and somebody in there beating her. People are actually doing that. I know I was talking about child molestation and sexual abuse for a minute, because that's something I experienced. I experienced mental abuse also. And when I got up to a age where it was just like, they say, oh, when you get to a certain age, like when I sit back and think about my life, and I be like, didn't no one thought it was strange that Nobody thought it was strange that this grown person is coming to pick me up from school. Nobody thought it was strange. That's why when, the whole situation with, y'all know who I'm not saying, but I'm saying, and those people was like, oh, I felt like everybody that was around, y'all all knew, y'all know. No. You knew. Some of y'all picked them up and brought them. No. Y'all better start asking y'all kids questions. They want to go spend the night over somebody's house. You start asking questions. They got older brothers, older sisters, cousins. Y'all better start asking questions. Because the last thing, I'm not even a parent, but the last thing that you will want is to know that your child, especially if you have been abused and you know how you struggle. Some people excel at, I couldn't even finish that because I don't know anybody that if you or somebody excelled after being I mean I understand, like, you go to therapy and you figure all that, but I mean, like, okay, I got touched and then I don't know nobody. I done seen people struggle to try to get it together, struggle. I done seen pedophiles, they don't touch people no more, but they got a whole SVU. I'm just saying, we gotta do better. This is why I come here. I'm sharing my story to encourage somebody. Maybe somebody that's just sitting around got me playing and you just watching to see if I was gonna just say what I said. I definitely put it in the link. I'm gonna put it in the game just because I'm putting it again. I think people should see it. I want people to see it. I want people to know, like, you don't have to suffer in silence. I'm gonna give this my wrap up music. I'm not wrapping up right now, but you don't have to suffer in silence. You probably think, like, I'm not suffering. You don't have to go about this by yourself. This closet is a safe space. If you want to come here and talk about something, if you don't even want to put it in here and you want to send me a message, my information is right there in all social medias. I be on TikTok the most, y'all. I be on TikTok the most. I be having fun. TikTok is fun. But send me a message over there. Y'all, if y'all ain't figured it out by now, I'm not afraid to talk about anything. Nothing. The thing that happened is, they let me realize the power in my voice. When I say they, I mean just life. The people that did shit to me, like, I realized the power in my voice. When I'm telling y'all how empowering it was for me to go and say, I forgive you, I forgive you. When y'all see the thing today, let me see if it's up here. My video today talks about forgiveness. Talks about forgiveness. I love, I'm gonna keep saying, I love my wife. Sorry, somebody was calling me. Oh, it is up there. It's talking about forgiveness. I forgive. I'm 40 years old. I done had enough stuff in my life that I carried around. I'm not carrying around anything new. I'm letting it all go. If a situation happened, I'm dealing with it right there, and I'm gonna let it go. If you don't learn, if you 18, 25, if you can't look back and see how much stuff you carried from there to the age you are right now, I'm gonna do you one better. If you looked at 2020 and you walked over into 2021, even if you walked, crawled, however you got into 2021, I'm going to encourage you to change your life. I'm gonna tell you to change your life because you were given an opportunity. You were given an opportunity to do better. We are 2 months in. We're about to go into 3 months in a couple of hours. We're going to go into 3 months. It'll be March 1st. You still have time. When I tell you, y'all probably know, once it hit March, it's going to go so fast. It's going to go so fast. Once the weather changes, it's going to go so fast. It's going to go fast. So now, take the time now to plan. Take the time now to do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. Do it. You didn't survive that to come over here and just be like, well, I'm going to still be with this person because they say they love me, but they treat me like shit, but they say they love me, though. And when I tell y'all, people's love is a feeling. I say love is an action word. I say love, if somebody loves you, they don't want to control you. They don't want to hurt you. They want to be there for you. They want to encourage you to be better. I love y'all. Half y'all I've never seen or never met ever. You probably never even dropped a comment in here. I love you. You are a human being, and just like me, you trying to make it, you trying to maintain, you trying to obtain wealth. Whether that be health, wealth, knowledge, whether that be finances, you just trying to do better. I can't hate you for trying to do better. I just don't want you to create narratives about me while you doing better. You can go and do what you do. Just don't create a narrative about me. Because then I'm going to have to let it be known. Like, I can't let you do that. Listen, I have enjoyed the time here. It's almost March. I'm still gonna give y'all, it's gonna be late, but I'm gonna give y'all an end of the month wrap up. If you haven't already, go check out Growing Up Milwaukee. It's the last day. It's a documentary that I scored, my first ever documentary that I scored. First ever. It's been in 5 film festivals, and it's on HBO Max. Today is the last day on HBO Max. I guess it was just there for Black History Month. I don't even care. It's on HBO Max. And it's the first one I ever did. I got some other stuff that's going on. Today, I'm at 451 videos on YouTube. I'm telling y'all, I got goals, dreams, hopes, aspirations. I hope y'all take the time to go watch my Facebook video. Follow me on Facebook. I mean, hey, follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. Follow me everywhere. I told everybody in my family, everybody that I love, I'm here on YouTube. I'm living my life visually. So I'm gonna be on TikTok, IGTV starting tomorrow. IGTV, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I'm gonna be in those 4 places. I'm living my life visually. I want people to see me as I'm doing the things that I'm doing. If you haven't already, go ahead and check my video out from today. It's talking about forgiveness. Love is an action word. Love is a choice. You choose. Like, think about this, right? I'm gonna tell you in the most basic sense, right? If you are a parent, you made the choice to love the thing that was growing on the inside of you. You made that choice to love the thing growing on the inside of you. It wasn't a feeling, it was a choice. You made the decision. You chose to say, I am going to birth this that is in me. You made the choice to go through 9 months of highs and lows. And even if you have a baby, you know that there's a thing called postpartum depression. I honestly feel like men suffer some kind of thing too. But I don't know if people even actually thought to think about that. But you know, you made the choice. It's a choice when you think about it. Parents, you choose to love your kid. Your kids can be bad. They can be shoot 'em up, bang bang. They can be drug dealers. They can be basketball. Whatever your child is, you choose to love your child. You choose. Now, some people love their kids out of obligations because they're my child. Like parents, like siblings. I have to love you. Like I'm the type of person that's like, family is who you choose. Who you choose to be around. That's your family. Family. I'm redefining family. You can't redefine family. I can redefine it. That's why I say I don't have friends. I have family. People that's been around me for a long time. Like if you went to watch the Facebook video, anybody that knew me, they immediately hit me and was like, I know that was hard for you to do because you don't address stuff. You don't, not that I don't address it like that. It's just I number one don't want to put that kind of business out there, but sometimes drastic means you have to do things drastically. So this is what I'm gonna leave you with. I'm gonna have to go because I gotta go, but I'm gonna leave you with this. Speak your truth, live your truth, be kind. Be kind. Use your words to tell how you feel, express how you feel, and never let anyone speak for you. Speak for yourself. Don't speak through a third person. Speak for yourself. If you got something you want to say to somebody, speak directly to them. That's it. Oh, wait. Love yourself. Know yourself. Trust yourself and just be yourself. And if the people around you can't love you for that, not who they want you to be, who they feel like you should be, listen, you don't need them. I know y'all probably like, but I do, but you really don't. You got family over here. You can always come to Shelle's Closet. You got family. Y'all probably seen this around the world. I'm right here. If you ever need to talk, hit my inbox, email, anything. Oh, so what I'm deciding to do for Saturday Night Vibes for March is I'm going to put artists. Tonight I'm going to put artists. And then let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to change it and put songs. So whichever artist you select, I'm going to go a list of songs from that artist. So we're going to do artists and songs. Artists and songs. So stay tuned. Check the community tab up there. You know, if you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified the next time that I go live or just, post anything on this channel. I truly enjoyed y'all and I appreciate y'all for coming. I'll see y'all next Saturday for Saturday Night Vibes. Until next time, you know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is, I suggest you watch the Finger Sweetie because they will tell you. Good night, everyone. Be safe. Until next time. Thank you, Trish. I really appreciate that. Until next time. Peace.